hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you may wonder what you've stumbled upon. You've stumbled upon an Aussie who is in day 5 of now 14-day lockdown. Yes, today it was announced our lockdown is going to be for another 7 days. There's just over 350 exposure sites at the moment. There's still 3,000 close contacts that they know about, and they're hoping this time next week they can start easing stuff. But when I say restrict the country or all the regional areas are going to start easing back. I don't know why my camera's doing that, because I've got no lights on. The lights are on, but nobody's home. So anyway, I could go crazy by the end of it. I could go crazy by the end of the 14 days, but we don't know. Anyway, so I hope you're doing really well. And I'm hoping to submit my final assessments in the next 2 days, and then I'm on break. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yes, we've had a crazy day yesterday or last night, yesterday, whatever we want to say. Or for some of you, it was this morning. Well, I don't know. Whenever we last met, we were watching the Katie Joy, the aircraft expert, the expert on flight. Well, today we're going to hear about the expert on law. Yeah, that's right. An expert on all things legal, which is really quite funny considering what we know has just happened in her life. And for those of you that were interested, last night, Plan to Create, I haven't seen Plan to Create yet, but if she's here, and I did suggest for you to go check out her page. But look, so I don't know whether you saw it last night. It was just something there, so I've since added that. And this was my first page, and you'll notice everything's crossed off. Apparently, when you have jobs to do when looking pretty, it crosses off. It's easy to do. The other thing is, so tomorrow, again, I've set that up. Saturday, Friday and Saturday is all I've done as well. Now, interestingly, there is something crossed off for Friday. I actually submitted it today, 4 days early. So I'm ahead of schedule as far as my assignments are concerned. This is Sunday. Sunday looks like it's going to be a good day of rest. So on this page, I needed to fill up some space. So I've just put a little verse of the Bible there just to remind me. And then we go into next week, and I'm in lockdown until Thursday. So again, it's going to be a lot of online stuff. Now, this was the day that my assessment was due to be marked. But it was supposed to be what we call recital week, and recitals were supposed to start Monday, but because we can't do face-to-face, everything's changing. But I don't know whether they will still mark my assignment there. But anyway, that's that week. And then I'm starting on the next week. So there you go. All I've done is just use the standard A5. Oh, thank you, Busy Bee. Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm now finding all my little scrapbooking stuff. I mean, they were just like little flowers I've put together to make, that flower. And it's amazing the stuff I've accumulated. And these are just like, it's funny, I've put the sun and the umbrellas on the same day, because I live in Melbourne. You can have sun 1 minute and then you can have rain the next. Oops. You can have rain the next. Cool. So yeah, Plan to Create is her YouTube channel, and she has her own Etsy store. So, so now my desk is covered with flowers and stuff. So I can keep showing you. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a day one yet, but Oh, wow. There are so many people that do this type of stuff. It's a whole thing. There are YouTube channels galore purely on planning. Wow. So, people have it. Some have 4 of these and they're all for different purposes. Yeah, I'll grab her. Let me grab her YouTube channel again. And just give me a moment. You might think you're probably sitting there going, unstalling. Yes, I am stalling because I know that you're all going to get mad, and I'd like to keep you all a little bit happier just for a little bit longer. Just for a little bit longer. Keep you all happy just for a little bit longer. All right. So there you go. That YouTube link that I just shared is a Plan to Create. So she's an Australian. She lives. She's in lockdown, but she gets to get out on Thursday. She gets to get out tomorrow. So there's still restrictions. They have a number of people that they're limited. They have a lot of heavy restrictions, but they can move around. And the other thing that we can't do is that we cannot travel from city to country. So, yeah. Well, it's interesting. I've just changed the background of mine. Of my. Oops, I'm just trying to. Hopefully that's it. Ah, you can't see. That was. It's actually calendar. Oops. Oops, it's too bright. Let me just pull down the brightness a bit. I tell you what, I'm not very good with this techno stuff. I can just hear Rick yelling at me. There you go. See, it's a calendar, a June calendar. And it's my background now. So anyway. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I thought I'd do on Sunday because I have nothing literally, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. So I thought, well, I've done this big space. I may as well make it. And I had this, and it's a sticker. So I just wrote, this one says, the Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all he has made, from the Psalms. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. And if I keep getting jobs done, I've still got another 7 days. I mean, my house might actually be clean and sorted. Hello, Christoph fan, always. So there was 2 lives. Apparently the first live was only a couple of minutes long, which was a little bit disappointing. Peter hasn't sent me half her workload yet. Yeah, she reckons she's going to send me half my workload because, I'm going to be, because I'm in lockdown. So this was, so Sassy showed some clips from this morning's one. There was, so as I said, it was 2, and it was all of 2 minutes or something. So let's look at this one. So this is from Sassy, All Things Sassy. Then we'll look at the longer one, which I managed to get. I was asleep when she went. I mean, the thing about Katie Joy at the moment is that she's doing a lot of her lives when I'm asleep, and I'm sorry, that's not really fair. I can't record them if I'm asleep. Hi, Shelley. So there's this one. This one says, and so for their child to pass away from a preventable illness than to potentially catch the spectrum. And that's just not how it works. And so we have to protect our children, especially in a time like today
when you can see what's happening in the world if there weren't vaccines. Think of how right now there's nothing that we can do right now to stop the spread of this virus. There's nothing we can do to protect our loved ones. The only thing that we can do is like stay inside and like try not to be like do our best to protect the vulnerable, like my son, right? And so you can't like in this day and age, sorry, for their child to pass away.
But so I think that was this morning. I think that was this morning. I'm not sure. I have to, but you know, that's a lot of wiping of the nose. But as I said, I've got her other one. That might not be. That might be an older one. Let's have a look. But Sassy's got some good stuff on her YouTube. Mm-hmm. The other, yeah, this is it. The other thing that she has done. Yes, it was how many times she touched her nose. Okay. Why she always itching her nose? It's like I don't know, Carolee. Yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was that if that was the early one, but I did see this. I have got the second one for you. So if we're ready, we're gonna get a law lesson. Is Poppy Seeds here? I know she'll be interested in this one. Well, with everything that she knows, maybe our Minister for Innovation and Science could do with the help. So here we go. He completed his apprenticeship today. Wow, what's he qualified as? Wait on. We can get rid of KJ for a moment. What's he qualified at? What's he got? Does this mean he doesn't need to walk past that fence anymore, or is this another song? That is amazing. That is amazing. Oh, he's a fridgie. Wow. So fridge mechanic, hey? Wow. Air conditioner mechanic. Nice. That is really, really good. You would need your air cons in Darwin. I would imagine. So it would be a job that would be in high demand. So that's pretty good. Has he got work to go into? Listen to me just like playing 20 questions here. Yeah. Hello, Lynn, love and light. This is my oldest. So proud as an apprentice advocate. Yes, you are an apprentice advocate. And you know, we need to, those advocates to tell people that, to show people that university isn't the pathway for everybody, and that you can still be just as successful by taking the apprenticeship pathway. Boy, what would we be without all of our apprenticeships, Hello, Carl. Nice. Yeah. All right. So let's see what KJ's got for us today. As I said, I've changed the background now. Oh.
Hello.
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 Thank you. I don't know what's going on. Hello.
It's like I'm going to keep saying hello until somebody answers me back. Hello. I'm gorgeous, says KJ. I don't know what's wrong. I sometimes gets the feeling like she'd be really, you know, like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, and she gets really upset if they don't say you, KJ. Well, we know what happens when the mirror doesn't agree. Can she not smile? Sizzling.
Hello, everyone. I'm trying to get everything set up right now so that this is all ready to go. There has been this, okay, I already did a video about this last week, but honestly, I keep seeing this circulating, and I just have to, like, put this on the record. There's this Reddit thread that everyone is talking about.
I thought she didn't watch Reddit. There are jobs for everyone. You don't need college, and we need more trade workers. We do need more trade workers. In some ways, they are the backbone of society, aren't they? I agree with you regarding university. I went for 4 years. I'm still paying my student loans off of my earnings. Have gone down. Wow. Why does her hello annoy me so much, says Eileen. She looks like an infant looking at herself in the mirror. Well, she doesn't say which Reddit thread. She just says a Reddit thread. Definitely need more trade work. Well, I know everybody's young compared to me. A young man just turned 30. He's decided he's been building bathrooms for many years and has decided to go do a carpentry apprenticeship now. And really excited. My daughter's in recording school. It's like trade school, way less. Wow. I don't like people who pretend to be closer than they are. KJ telling people she loves them always talks fake. Doesn't mean what she says. So why say it fake? I'm older, I think. Sorry, you're allowed to rant as much as you like. Meanwhile, Dragon, you are allowed to rant as much as you like. Remember, this is a safe space. That was sus about Reddit thread. She had no idea, so she wouldn't name fundies. Well, she won't name which thread it was.
Put this on the record. There's this Reddit thread that everyone is talking about with Jana Duggar, and it's just not true. Stephen Weissman's sisters literally all look like Jana. And he has 3 sisters that have the exact same hair as Jana and use the same curls as Jana. And so it's
Hang on.
Wild.
Hang on. You can't have the same hair as somebody because it's on somebody else's head. Am I right? You'd say that same hairstyle, the same color, but you can't say they have the same hair because you can't have the same hair as somebody else. It's your hair. It's your hair. Or have I just lost the plot? They've got the same hair. They can't have the same hair. Oh. Yes, she could say similar, but they can't be the same. Joe, that was explained in like a long video with the shaving her heads and special shampoo. Oh dear. Yeah, they got the same hair because it's on someone else's head. Oh, they've gone, hey, Jenna, I like your hair. Can I have some? And Jenna's cut off her hair and they've glued it onto their hair. Then you've got then you've got the same hair. Or they've transplanted their hair. Having the exact same, you're right, Joe, having the exact same hair as someone would mean you have the same DNA as someone. What's the deal with her? Oh, but wait on commentator auditor. She did say that we all do have the same DNA. So maybe. Janice, so what? Oh, to tell you. Lockdown's going to be crazy. Who knows what I'm going to be like in 14 days' time?
Use the same curls as Jana. And so
they can't use the same curls. They can't use the same curls. They may use the same rollers. They may end up. You can't have the same curls. Oh, so I love your laugh. Please cheer me up. Terrible tragedy happened in my life. Lost one of my sons a week ago. Oh, I'm sorry, BS. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's horrible. And I don't mean to laugh at, but yes, I'm just trying to laugh at the situation. Well, actually, there was someone whose hair DNA was different than the rest of her DNA, but she's an anomaly. I don't want to have the same DNA as her. So just keep laughing. My nephew cut my brother's hair while he was sleeping and got scared and tried to glue it back on. Oh no, with the glue. But I'm so sorry to hear that, BS, and know that you've got a support crew here if you need anything at all. Most young women have Jenna's hairstyle. That's what she needed to say. They have the similar hairstyle. You can't say they've got the same hair and the same curls. But we are here. I feel really bad laughing and after, but
as Jana, and use the same curls as Jana. And so it's
use the same curls. You mean they use the same rollers? How can you use the same curls? Hey, Jenna, when you finish with your curls, can I have them? Is that how that works? Oh, I tell you. Don't feel bad. I need it, says BS. Okay. Oh. I need to hear laughter again. What? Who or what is living on her scalp that she needs to touch or comfort? I don't know, Peter. Everyone keeps talking about that, but I don't know.
Wild that people, based on hair, have decided that she's in Nebraska. She didn't leave. She wasn't in that photo. You can look at the photo from the back and see that it's probably his sister Hannah, whose hair is literally identical to Jana's. So no, she's not in Arkansas, or she didn't leave Arkansas.
She's not in Arkansas, but that's where she lives. And how does she know this? Sometimes when I see clips of KJ, I often wonder if I banged my head, says Laura. I wish I could give my curls away to my sister. Yeah. So it's interesting, her chat's not moving either. And there's only 142 people in the chat. And I think it gets up to about 170. So I don't think she did she only did this one and the one and a very short one before, but because there weren't many people watching. She's a snoop and she just guesses. She is a double check to make sure her hairline is the same as it was 3 months ago. You know, the female pattern baldness is getting to her, says commentator auditor. You trade your straight hair for curls?
To spend.
Well, apparently you need to go ask Jana Duggar. And you can have curls. The same curls as her.
Time with him in Nebraska. And in regards to stuff with Janelle Evans, I'm going to be uploading a video.
And the interesting thing is, so everyone's saying happy Pride. She's ignoring that. Toad makes 2 comments on here, and that they are hilarious. If you're on the other night when we were talking about toads, etc., and the chat really got away, I have an article to follow on from that about a completely different subject. I wish I could have my 16-year-old grandson's curly hair. He complained they were hitting his sunglasses. Oh, gee, I wish. I saw her screen time average 16 hours a day. That doesn't take into account her computer screen time. How is that possible? How does she care for her child? So she ignores everyone saying happy Pride?
Video. And first off, I am not here to compete with other YouTubers. I don't have to be a lawyer to talk about different things that are happening.
She doesn't need to be a lawyer, people. And only 14 likes. Joe, I love it when you speak as if you're speaking directly to KJ. Oh. Well, I am looking straight at her.
On YouTube. And I saw that the Sun reported this, that Janelle Evans was suing John Yates and Sherelle. What I didn't realize when I actually got into the lawsuit, that it's a class action lawsuit. It's not just Janelle. There's 8 other parties. No, I'm not on mute. I don't know why you would think I'm on mute.
Oh. No, anyway, someone mentions Emily, and you know what's going to happen. I haven't actually sat down and read the documents or anything, but I know apparently KJ did do a reading of the documents. It took her a while, but you know.
No, I'm not on mute. I don't know why you would think I'm on mute. Maybe you should go out and come back in. Can you hear me? I'm definitely not on mute. Okay. So what I didn't realize was that this lawsuit is not just Janelle and this guy from 90 Day Fiancé. It's also like 7 other people that have joined this lawsuit. And while the Janelle stuff is kind of flimsy and it's hard to understand how this works with the Janelle stuff related to the podcast, this person is psychotic. You know.
Oh yeah, there we go. Wait, I missed it. I needed to just pull it back a bit because somebody. Wait, you said Emily wasn't qualified, and you think you are? Emily already covered it, and no one is going to watch yours. Period, is what someone said. Okay, KJ. Well, no, you don't have to be a lawyer to talk about things you talk about, but since you consider yourself a reporter, you should make sure that you check what you're saying before you say it. She want anyone talking about the lawsuit more than she can about them. Shouldn't be talking about a lawsuit when she completely lost it when everyone was talking about hers. She's a bigger hypocrite on the planet, says Marie. Right, Pete. That's TLC. She wanted She watched Emily's stream and now trying to act like she knows the law about it. But yes, she hated it when EDB read her court docs on YouTube. Actually, said it was illegal. Now she's doing the same. Hypocritical much. Yes. Even John Yates said to go to Emily. Did he? Okay, the person isn't psychotic, just correct. So anyway, that's what the person said. So the person is being called psychotic. Okay. Perry and John showed up on Emily's. It was great. I love Perry. I wonder if Poppy Seeds is around. I should call her. Where's Gail? Because every time Gail calls Poppy Seeds, she appears to see what the legal definition of a class action lawsuit was. I did see that it did have a few people there. Hey, Pia. So I thought that usually in a class action they're represented by one lawyer. So do they all have their own separate lawyers? Do we know? I don't know. Even Salt said the lawsuit looked weird. All right.
Kind of flimsy, and it's hard to understand how this works with the Janelle stuff related to the podcast. This person is psychotic. You know, just because Emily Baker covers something doesn't give her the right or the, like, what? She's the only person that can cover something? Does that even make sense? So only one person can cover this, even though literally the Sun is covering it and all these other outlets are covering it. Like,
but you're not an outlet. Here's a question. Why, when she's trying to defend herself, does she refer to herself like the Sun and the Insider and TMZ? Why does she do that? And there is a difference between, I mean, she says something about anyone can read court documents and give opinion. Yes, you can. I mean, I read court documents too, and I try to give them an interpretation. However, I don't change the meaning of those documents. I thought she didn't want to talk about, well, she didn't want to talk about other YouTubers until she realized that this was a trending topic. Well,
do you really think you're that dumb to think that only one YouTuber can cover something, and that one person is the only voice that can say anything about anything? That's the stupidest logic I've ever heard.
Didn't she say that she was the only place to go for the Duggar stuff? Or am I like totally messing up my conversations here? That nobody else can go to the Duggars because like she's got all the hot tips and stuff, like, and she gets upset that anybody else would cover the Duggars. She got upset. Remember, she got upset that Emily also talked about the Duggars. Whenever it's Emily Cameron, yes, I don't want KJ to cover it here. See, I can't talk about the fact that she's not a lawyer and covering lawsuits. I've been doing some of those law cases myself, particularly the Christian Porter one. Camilla, yeah. So I can't criticize that. Contempt in her voice. Yes, she did say that. Yeah. Anybody can discuss it. But for the legal side, they're saying Emily again. All she wants to do is copy anything. I don't know why they take it. I don't know why they take it. Well, KJ, so you keep referring to the Sun, TMZ, and other gossip news like they are more knowledgeable than an actual lawyer. Well, a lot of those tabloids do have, well, first of all those tabloids have people that have gone to journalism schools. So first of all, they know about ethics. And some of them would have done, as part of their cadetship, they would have done court stuff. Nobody owns any sort of contact. No, nobody. Oh, I can send you a stream when she went off at Josh reading his court papers saying this is public. Anyone can read it. Yes, she did. I saw that. Yes. Gee, there are some times, Peter, I am so glad that I live in Australia that just not any Tom, Dick or Harry can actually go into court. That anyone can just go onto a website and pull off court papers. Because there is a case with the YouTuber Friendly Geordie's being sued by a New South Wales politician. If I want to get the court documents, I actually have to fill in this form and write an explanation as to what I want to do with those documentation, because I am not an authorised media representative. So they're a lot harder to get hold of in Australia unless they're public interest, and then they redact all the personal information. Be careful assuming tabloids have ethics. Well, I'm discovering that they actually have more than this one. Joe, you can cover lawsuits because I don't. I just talk about what's going on. On Twitter, they have been talking about how she literally takes her story straight from the Sun. She has no sources.
Stupidest logic I've ever heard. Every single person has a right to report on whatever it is that they want. And anybody's opinions on this topic are going to be varied based on their own experience. So,
absolutely, except from Christian Porter, if only we could have those 27 pages. Well, at the moment, Peter, they're sitting in the court file and they are redacted. He wants them removed from the court file, never to be seen again. But the media want to get their hands on those court documents unredacted. I really want to know what's in those 27 pages. And is it really suspicious that after not for discontinuing his defamation case on the R allegation, he's now flaunting around a new girlfriend? We can go on together with suspicious minds. I don't think it's going to help his credit any longer. But anyway, I've just yeah. But the person that stopped him from using his barrister has threatened to take him. Has threatened to take him has threatened to sue him for defamation too. So his problems are it's only the beginning. But his new girlfriend's a criminal lawyer, so that could be interesting too. He might need her help down the track. But I digress. I digress. So just a big can of worms. But here's a question for you. What is it with politicians suing for defamation at the moment? There are three politicians in Australia suing media outlets or one YouTuber and 2 media outlets for defamation. And in those, they're pleading the truth defense. She uses her live stream as a mirror to look at herself. It's so nice. She's not one, Eileen. She'll tell you that. She'll tell you she's not. Anyway, I know I keep going off the track, but the Christian Porter case and the Joe Dyer case, I could talk about for ages because I've got so many questions.
And anybody's opinions on this topic are going to be very.
But we don't need you can't have opinions on legal documents. It's about reading the documents and interpreting the facts. You can't have opinions. Yes, quick recap for those. Peter, they've only got to watch my videos. No, quick recap for our Attorney General. He was the Attorney General. He's now the Minister for Science and Innovation, Peter. Tried to sue our public broadcaster for defamation, but backed out, and he's now trying to claim it as a win. Yes, and now he's trying to get their defence removed from court files. So, and other media outlets are going, no, they're public interest and we want them. So,
based on their own experience.
No, it doesn't come down to experience. You can't read a court document that says XYZ said about XYZ and go, well, I don't really like them because of this and this and this and this and this. You read what it says. You can't make anything up when you do court documents. It sounds like KJ, she wanted mediation. I was going to say, Peter, his behaviours reminds me of some of hers, actually, and I'm it's really quite funny. Anyway. If Jessie Bear says, if you don't want to watch Katie, get lost. If you don't want to watch Katie, get lost. I like watching different lawyers discuss the case because each of the lawyers will attack the case from a different perspective. Like Natalie, the lawyer chick, she's a defense lawyer. So she, particularly even when she was talking about Josh's case, she was talking about, as a defense lawyer, what she would do and how it would be approached from the defense side, how you would defend somebody. Where EDB, she's an ex-prosecutor, so she can see how you're going to prosecute the case and make the lawyers the same. So, and it's interesting to get them all together, you know, when they have those collabs and they take it from their different viewpoints and their strengths and go, well, what about this defense, or what about this attack, or, you know, how, and they start looking at that. It's, you know, that's really interesting. What's scary to me, some people, well, and that's the problem. If you look at some of the videos, that I've made about some of the court cases, but particularly the latest one, the Geordies one, or even the Craig McLaughlin one, I've gone out of my way not to make any judgments or opinions. And there's a few people that have criticized me for sitting on the fence, but there's a reason why I don't make those opinions, because that's not my job. My job is to show you what's there and get you thinking about it for yourself so that you have the information to draw your own conclusions. You're not my followers. You are free-thinking people. I think there's a difference between a lawyer and an attorney, and the fact that ED... Do you think that there's a difference between... I don't know. Joe, your opinion is the only one for me. Yeah. Well, that scares me, Sarah. It really does. I can be very, I can be very opinionated. I have very strong feelings about certain things, but that doesn't make me right either. So I always, you know, want you to go off and look at it yourself. A lawyer just has to finish listening, an attorney has to. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. You usually give us unbiased opinion, allow others to have their own opinion. Well, that's what I do, and I do that deliberately with Whispers, because for me, I want to put all the information out there. You put all the information out there, and then you see what everyone else thinks. And I mean, sometimes I will say in a video, this is my thoughts, this is what I think. However, I'm interested in what you think, because I may learn something. I may have totally and utterly misread something. and that's where you have to help me. So it's about educating on both sides. Although often I have had a discussion, often I've discussed things with Poppy beforehand. So we've chatted about a few of those matters, so I know that. But anyway, it's very, very interesting. So yes, I think. But the thing is also, if you're going to do it as a non-lawyer, you have to be very careful to just make sure that you stick to the facts of the document. Some of the legal stuff can be very, very, jargonish. I know the one that I did today, I actually had to look up the federal law to make sure. I actually looked up the federal law to see what it says. Being a prosecutor with experience gives one a good insight. Yes, that's right, Sarah. She had to have something to give up. What was it? It was, it had to have been Swanson. But if you remember, Poppy Seeds last week reckoned that had suggested that possibly. We said last week that she may be dragged into the other case. I'm ready to get into the bathtub, but I'll still be listening. Thanks for taking a bath with me. Okay, Eileen. As long as the camera's off, eh? I discovered my son, I got these bath bombs for Christmas, and I discovered that they were disappearing. My son apparently likes baths, and he likes my bath bombs. And Harrison had actually given them to me, and he asked me how they were the other day. And I said, oh, they were really cool. They were really good. They were really nice. I hadn't used them, but I couldn't explain to him how they were, why I didn't have them.
So I am, plus 90% of my audience doesn't follow her.
Maybe we like Katie's voice. 90% of her audience doesn't follow. I don't know who she's talking about. Is she talking about Emily D. Baker? Is she talking about 90% of my audience don't follow her? Well, maybe they may now.
So they're not like just lawyers that are following, it's weird.
Like, she could have just let that go. No problems. You all shaved your legs with me the other night. Cameron's never, I would never do that. Well, I just need to make it 18 plus, Eileen. How does she know? I don't know how she knows.
Everyone has an opinion, and basically what I'm going to be doing is just going through what the documents say. But honestly,
someone says, well, you get everything wrong. You report, period. Get some braces and fix for teeth. You get everything wrong. You get everything wrong, you report. Get some braces and fix for tooth. That person's going to get blocked. And someone says, well, I want to hear yours. Well, she gives her opinion. I never watched the video. I'm happy to pull it up if you want to watch it afterwards. And then those of you that have watched DB can tell me whether she's just copied her.
It sounds eerily familiar to my own experience with her. And this Eric likes Brianna was just the Lynn's account. You're psychotic. She literally said I report everything wrong. Literally. I wonder if she's a Duggar hugger. Do you think that she's a Duggar hugger?
So 90% KJ, the only way you could have known that as for a fact is if you had access to a database of subscriber units and names for her own sites. And the only other way she would know, or the only other way she would know, is if she sits through EDB's chats and goes through the transcripts, and then hers and goes through the transcripts. Well, just heard China has had an outbreak of bird flu as well as COVID. Yes, I did hear that. That's pretty freaky, isn't it? Just when we get COVID, well, we haven't got COVID dealt with. I have to say, although we're in lockdown, the year 11 and 12 students, the students in their final 2 years of high school will be still going back to school. This woman has not changed one single bit. I've avoided listening to any of her videos lately. She hasn't learned one thing about how to treat people and when to shut her mouth.
You report everything wrong. You're such a liar. It's probably that sassy woman. Anyway.
All things sassy. She gave Sassy a shout out. It's probably that sassy woman. If you follow her YouTube, All Things Sassy. If you don't, you should.
Liar. It's probably that sassy woman. Anyways. I don't want to report. Like, the last thing I want to be doing is lying about anyone, because I don't want to end up in any sort of lawsuits.
Again.
But.
Again, you don't want to end up in a lawsuit again. Let's be honest with your viewers. Again. Hello. Oh, 100 people are watching. Hello, 100 people. Hello.
People are so dumb. This lawsuit.
She's so full of it, says Jenna Sweet Tea. Hello, Claire. Hi, have you noticed the info from the play crash? No info on Josh. Went straight to drama. Janelle Evans lawsuit. More drama. Yeah. I hate it when I'm right now. I plan to create. You missed my show and tell of my masterpiece. But at least plan to create. You get to get some type of freedom. Another 7 days. You don't want to end up in any kind of lawsuit, yet you defame others who criticize you. I know. She never follows creators, right? She never. Well, she did send Sassy a. I guess you'd say she asked her to remove all her content about her, and she said that. Oh, I don't know. It didn't make any sense. Actually, it didn't make any sense. But you already watch it. I've also shared your link again. Plan to create as well. So. Problematic viewers because John Yates gave a statement yesterday about his suit and told people if they wanted details to watch Emily, she is great. To people who have not liked. Fingers crossed there's no cases from the Axondale pub. Oh, that's right, because you're in the area that's still on high alert. That's, yeah. But, yeah, most of there's 2 country areas that are still a bit waiting for confirmation, but yeah, that's right. You're in that area. Not a problem. Plan to create. I'll be send you a message later because I've got some questions because I need to find a cover for this. So
is interesting to me because it reminds me of what Sherelle did to me last year. So last year, if you're not familiar, Sherelle literally went up on her YouTube channel and accused me of saying the N-word when I'd never said it. She said that I was racist.
So someone says, aren't you a commentator with your own opinions? Isn't that your job? No plan creates in Victoria, Peter.
She said,
it's really strange, isn't it? It's really strange how I can go, oh yeah, this person lives here, and this person lives here, and this person lives here. I can tell you where lots of people live, but I can't tell you what day of the week it is. I know where everyone lives.
hacked her. She said I was like hacking into her accounts and like creating like trying to sabotage her. Her husband, Perry, called my husband an Faggot while he was on live streaming about my husband. They started spreading.
Not to mention, it's not worth to lie. What do you gain? Loss of credibility? Katie doesn't lie. Get lost. Hello, Sunny D. I told you it's the mirror, mirror on the wall scenario.
Her husband, Perry, called my husband an Faggot while he was on live streaming about my husband. They started spreading all of these lies about me, and then Perry started his YouTube channel based off lies about me to get people to watch him lie about me for like an hour and a half. And all of this, I felt like at the time was done because I started getting some traction on 90 Day Fiance content on my channel. And so with her attacks on me, I stopped losing people for watching me on the 90 Day Fiance stuff. And so I stopped covering 90 Day Fiance, which I felt was kind of what she wanted. And I tried to stay out of all of this, but to see.
You know what's really annoying me at the moment? And this is really petty. It must be the camera angle, but all of the lampshade and the statues are hanging crooked, and that's just messing with my head. Like the picture, it's all at a slant. It's just messing with my head. I can't deal with it. She never said it was you that tried to hack her account, KJ. She said someone with a familiar name tried to gain access to her account. Get your facts straight. But that happened to Saltsy too, didn't it? No, it was because she was trying to sue another content creator. See, a lot of this stuff's before my time, and I've deliberately not gone in to try and find out what's going on.
So many different people sharing their experience with her, and like seeing that what I went through is not, I wasn't alone in it, and that the lies are so allegedly blatant. It's so wild. Like I've been watching them sort of like off to the side. Like I don't really pay attention too much. I've stayed out of the 90 Day Fiance stuff just because in general, some of the 90 Day Fiance stands can get really intense. And I just don't, in general, I find the show to be so fake. It's just not up my alley. You can only report about what you have, what you know at the time. Now, the Janelle stuff, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but honestly, as I was reading this lawsuit, I got this feeling like something was going on here. I'm trying to figure out like why Devin isn't included in this lawsuit, because it seems like a lot of the people that were getting.
So we have we've probably got another deep dive coming out. So someone says, don't watch that. So see you later, Katie. They want Douglas stuff. So if they're not getting Douglas stuff, they're not interested. When I last looked at her video about this thing, she only had 7,000 7,000 views on that reading of the court documents. So
allegedly damaged by John and Sherelle and Perry were doing they were almost doing Devin's dirty work or something. That's how it seems. Devin was telling them things, they were reporting it, and then they're going after people that Devin doesn't like. Which is, I don't know anything about Devin, but a lot of the stuff revolved around Devin. And I was like, the Janelle stuff revolves, the only persons that doesn't just revolve around Devin is Andrews.
Oh, okay, so someone says, what's going on here? I knew. Well, guess what? This new person is about to get blasted as well. So what happens if you come, let's just say, what happens if you come into most, I'm going to say most channels, if you come into, say, most channels and say, hi, you're new, what happens? Question. You better be careful talking about Sherelle and them. So what usually happens if somebody says that they're new in most cases? Someone fills you in, yeah, you get told, hey, welcome. We'd welcome them. All right. Let's see if you're right.
When someone shows up in my chat and goes, I'm new, I know you're a troll.
There you go. There you go. That's how you get, that's your welcome. She blocks, yeah. Yeah, you're a troll. They get blocked because they said they're new. Hi, I'm new. It's like, troll, troll, troll. Anyway, that's what happens on her stream. If you say you're new to that person that was treated like that, come here and say that you're new and see what happens, because we don't treat people like that here. The post office say good mean idiot. Sign on the door, wear a mask. Young adult man in PO, no mask. I asked the clerk if he should have one on. Read the sign to her, then left as having. She told and left us. Sherelle probably said she intends to sue. Have a discussion, you know, she will defame and John. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could actually just be. I have not interacted since December 2009, but this woman has me on the edge. We welcome you with open arms, virtual, of course. That's right. I don't like people who call names. No, I don't either.
I just love how the universe has this cool way of working itself out. It is funny, isn't it? I actually sent her a cease and desist last year, and she laughed at me. And then we tried to file a lawsuit against Sherelle, and then she just refused to respond to my attorney. And it's as I'm reading this, I was like, oh, should I join this lawsuit? But I'm not going to join a lawsuit. I have zero.
Well, other content creators, hi, thanks for coming to my stream with KJ. Oh, you're new. You are a troll. Get blocked. Yeah. I want her to run her mouth on this because sure I will call her bluff. So then she jokes about joining the lawsuit. Should I join this lawsuit?
a cease and desist last year, and she laughed at me. And then we tried to file a lawsuit against Sherelle, and then she just refused to respond to my attorney. And it's
but the problem is she can't complain about someone refusing to respond to a cease and desist when she didn't respond to 4. Had proof KJ was the one ignoring the CND. So does that mean the 30k new subs she has in the 8 are trolls? Yes. Sherelle will show her the law again. I get on a roll because I really like Sherelle's world. I wonder if Saltsy would represent Sherelle for Peanuts or pro bono. Don't know. Or maybe he just doesn't want to even get involved with that KJ woman again and will run to the hills. Who knows if KJ even sent a cease and desist to the right person. She would have run by default. Look at Steve McRae, who sued her good friend Carl Curtis. That's not how it works, KJ.
And it's like, as I'm reading this, I was like, oh, should I join this lawsuit? But I'm not going to join a lawsuit. I have zero interest in joining a lawsuit. I don't want to be a part of any lawsuit. You guys, no matter what happens in all of this, lawsuits are expensive. They are stressful. They're overwhelming.
Which I know from experience. Don't you, KJ? You think he'd relish a rematch, Will? I think he might too. Well, particularly when your lawyer files a document that's not even valid. But, that's a whole other story.
I think based on what Andrew is reporting in this lawsuit, and here's the thing, lawsuits, it's different to go up on, now people do file false declarations in court, that can happen, but for him to file a lawsuit and claim that they're lying about things, that would...
I'm new, but I'm not a troll. I love your content. It would be a great opportunity for Salt to go on Emily's to discuss. It would be, actually. This would be the type of lawsuit that would be interesting. I'm just going to pull that back because she's talking about false declarations and everything. As I said, she's now a lawyer because she knows how lawsuits work now. Oh yes, Todd Martin Paulson. There's a petition to take down her channel. I think he's talking about Sherelle's world, or I'm not sure who he's talking about. I'm not sure if he's talking about Katie or if he's talking about Sherelle there, but Todd's getting involved. So here's his comment. Just under here. I'll pull it up in a minute. So Canada is a mess. The PM now has a bill passed that he can lock down Canada until December if he wants to. And did you know that expired vaccines are good for another month? Really, Sunny D? That's not good. Well, it's interesting because it's our states that control the lockdowns, not the feds. If it was up to the feds, we would be. Well, let me just say, our Prime Minister liked the way that Trump handled the pandemic. What I don't get is how she has 167,000 subs when she treats them so badly, calling them names and everything. But I guess true personality comes out on Instagram, not YouTube. That's right, and that's why I play them on YouTube, B. Because then if any of her subs does see them, then it's up to them to decide. I'm not going to sit here and say, you shouldn't watch KJ. If you want to watch her, you're welcome to watch her. But I think you need to know the person that you don't see. Maybe her new subs will figure her out and unsubscribe. Maybe. But again, I'm not here to tell you how to think. those who are directing a train wreck, they do seem to gain. And that's the problem, Peter. The people that work hard day in, day out. I mean, I could probably work harder if I wanted to. You know, and I try to, when I do videos during the day, if I do videos during the day, I try to stay away from KJ because most of you like to watch her stuff at night. And so I keep, for my live streams, I keep her for my live streams. But I try to do more intellectual stuff or more fun stuff during the day, a little bit lighthearted. Sometimes, you know, court cases and stuff, some wacky stuff that goes on. And that's why I try to do a little bit of everything. And often I'll read a story and I'll go, oh, I've got to share that. I've got to share that. This is bizarre, but that's how I view it. However, I do have to admit all of my views come from KJ content, which, you know, that's just the fact of the matter. That's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April and you're shut down in May. Anyway, let's get back. So Todd's watching this.
To like go up on, like, now people do file false declarations in court. That can happen, but for him to file a lawsuit and claim that they're lying about things, that would be like huge. Like, he could get like slapped with a counterclaim. He could get slapped with this. And they're claiming that he falsely took out a PPP loan, and he opened a company just to take out PPP loans, which made me realize that if they were making these claims, if this is true, that's not even how PPP loans work. You have to show month.
Okay. Well, and you know what? That's what was this. It wasn't until I started seeing Katie's Instagrams that I realized that there was two people here. You know, I realized, and I went, oh, this is really who she is, because up until that time she was only doing recorded content, and then it was when she started doing all those lives that I really started to see what was going on. Everyone likes to see a train wreck, so that's, yes, and that's unfortunately that's what they do. That's what they like. The IG comments are usually, you're so pretty and stuff like that. She blocks anyone who wants to comment about what she's talking about. It is insane. It is insane. You know, and if you dare disagree, you know, if you dare disagree with her, you know. Like, even about the lockdown at the moment, I don't like the lockdown, but I understand why we have to lock down. And I've seen what's happening in India, and I'm seeing what's happening in Thailand and in Vietnam, and I'm going, I don't want that to happen. So if it means I have to stay in my house, and it means that me staying in my house is going to protect my parents and my grandmother and elderly people and sick people, and then I'll stay in my house. Like, but I don't like it. It's something about being told you can't do something that makes you want to do it. It's funny, when we went in lockdown, I didn't want to leave home. I was happy to stay home. And now that they've said you can't leave home, I have to go for a walk every day. I actually lost weight in the last lockdown because I would just have to get out the house. But I started watching her before she was a tea channel. She was covering anti-vaxxers, stuff like that. She had calling nights. Wow. My 25th birthday is on Thursday. Can I get a shout out? I love you, Katie. That's how I am too about wearing a mask, etc. Yeah. Tell me I can't do it, and I want to. But yeah, I wear a mask most of the time too. And the thing is, I only just stopped wearing it because all of our restrictions were nearly eased. Well, we nearly had all of our restrictions off. We were so close to having semi-normal life. In fact, uni is due to go back to face-to-face next semester, full-time, all the universities. So, you know, it's just everything's slowed back down again. So everything's back. But anyway, so whatever you have to do to keep people safe. I called in because I had some brain malfunction. The son has the same surgery. She basically called me a faker. Oh, wow. So have you got a shunt BS and hydrocephalus? Because Harris, my nephew, has that as well. We've never been in lockdown, but I just pretend that it's a thing here. I have signs on my doors that I'm in quarantine to deter robbers. Oh, do you know what our lovely treasurer said today, Peter? So he's a member. His electorate's in Victoria. Oh wow, I did have hydrocephalus, but my surgery cured it. Wow, that's amazing. The treasurer whose electorate is in Victoria, he was asked whether he'd failed his electorate because he's in one of the areas that's most affected by the no financial support for casual workers, and he said it was the state government, and he goes, well, we always have welfare. It's like yeah, another country has code black because of COVID. Oz 02 and leaving from Europe. Wow. Yeah, so Australia sent a whole pile of supplies across to India. And I know that the third repatriation flight from India arrived in Perth, and they had a quarantine breach, I think yesterday, where somebody had got it in one. So it's going to be interesting. I just think while the Indian strain is on the loose, we can't be complacent. That's my rant and that's my soapbox. I'll get off my soapbox now. And I think it's very stupid of the federal government not to support workers. Because just remember this, all the Australians, I think the worst is still yet to come. Just bear that in mind.
Like a certain amount of months of income and payment, because it goes off X amount of months to determine an average amount that they would pay you. So you can't just like literally open up a LLC and then say, I want a PPP loan. That doesn't even make sense. Your 25th birthday's on Thursday. You can get a shout out, Agnes Rose. Happy birthday, Agnes Rose. 25. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like when
wait on. Even Toadstart said happy birthday. Hang on.
Your 25th birthday's on Thursday. You can get a shout out, Agnes Rose. Happy birthday, Agnes Rose. 25.
Look, Todd. Happy birthday. He's getting in the action.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like when I was like, so you can't just open up a business and then take out a loan. Like you have to provide them.
Aren't many businesses run on loans? But is she talking about PPP loans? I don't know what she's talking about at this point. I switched off.
So you can't just open up a business and then take out a loan. Like you have to provide them documentation that proves that you had an income that needed to be replaced or helped. So some of this stuff just seems like shoddy. Like the Andrew stuff feels like if that's what they did, that would suck.
Then someone said hello to him and he said, hello, China baby photo. She's talking about PPP loans and how in the class action there was something said about PPP. Like, all right, that's fine. Okay, black bomb threat. Well, I just laugh because I don't know what it's like, but at a swimming pool, if you hear code black, it usually means that there's a little like floaty in the water. That someone's left a present that needs to be fished out of the pool. Every time I hear code black, that's what I think of. Okay, we know KJ doesn't really written how she. So, I wonder whether she tried to get one herself and couldn't. Commentator order that, but that would be just a speculation. Him and his mum run a daycare. His employer is his mum, and he lives with her. Then he took vacations. Okay. It can be very disturbing when you're at a swimming centre or a water park or something. Then you hear, "Okay, black, okay, black." Oh, sorry to interrupt, but does anyone have a link to join? I will need to get that for you. Just give me a moment. I will have to pull that up I'll pull it up on the other screen shortly. The case is going to be thrown out. It's not a class action, as the different people are being sued for different things. Class action means everyone has to be sued. That's what I thought a class action was. It has to be. So it has to be the same thing. Yeah. That's why I'm sort of interested about watching her video to see what she's taken from EDB, but I haven't seen EDB though.
That's too bad. All right. I am going to get this video up on my YouTube. No, you can't just open up an account, a PPP, and you have to report. Like, if you see the application, you have to show X amount of like pay stubs or revenue for 3 months. I think 3 or 4 months. So it wouldn't, like, you can't just open it and then, like, he would have had to show that he had income.
Now have a look at this down the bottom of the screen. Todd's message. I don't know if you can see it. It says, "I've got a band meeting at 8 tonight, Katie."
It wouldn't have worked. You couldn't have just opened it in April and then...
She's about to read it.
Oh. Anyways.
Did you hear that? Oh. That was her reaction to reading Toad's comment. Let's take that back.
3 or 4 months. So it wouldn't, like, you can't just open it and then, like, he would have had to show that he had income. It wouldn't have worked. You couldn't have just opened it in April and then... Oh. Anyways.
And then she left. She left. She left after that. He told her that he had to eat. So that ruined the rest of her night because she had to go be mum. And while she's talking links. Oh, really? Okay. All right. I'll have a look. Probably the first time Todd's been out the house for possibly, yes. That could be true. Okay. Yes, so that's what happened. So let me just grab this stuff for you and see whether I can grab it to work. Just bear with me for a moment. yeah, just the whole stuff was like fascinating, like was just unbelievable because, and then she just left. I don't know what the time was when he told her that, but it was just, and I thought, my first thought was, well, it must be pretty sad when you actually have to send a message on Instagram or for everybody to see to remind somebody that you have a band meeting. Try that for memberships. Yeah, that's how she left the stream. She just sort of groaned when she saw Toad's message, and you know, it was really quite sad actually. I don't know why the band meeting. I don't know. I mean, did he have a band meeting or did he just want to get out? Let's try this one. This is the Discord message. Hopefully it works, Sweet Tea, because I grabbed it from the membership link page. That's the Discord invite. We've been a bit quiet lately, and that's fine. We just put stuff in there if we need it. Just a way of communicating. So well, that's all right. I can do the way I can do do my stuff. So yeah. AT took it. So did you want to see? Did you want to watch the video? The Janelle, the law video, or not? It's up to you guys. I can speed her up. It might be just interesting to see. She's had 8.75 view, 8.7. Let's have a look. Yeah, all right, we'll watch it. It's 32 minutes though. Well, I didn't like this. This is, talk about clickbait. She's got this one. Divorce shocker. Jess's Seawald's rebel sister-in-law. She's put divorce shocker with Jess's Seawald at the front to get people. She had 31,000 views there. 69,000 views. Josh Duggar's courtroom nightmare. Federal judge. Why she got Biden there? Biden didn't appoint him. Obama did. She got 19,000 on Prophet Gren Shamblin. She got 35,000 on this one. And 8.7 on here. I'll give her a view. Oh, all right. And we're going to speed her up. We'll speed her up. Oh, definitely clickbait. I mean, I have to admit, Tracy, I did clickbait a little bit tonight with her law stuff, but you know, she did, you know, bring up. Well, it was like the one yesterday when she was telling us all how it was all going to work. Only watch it with you a few to give her what, Joe, when you like this today, you can named it. No, KJ. Yeah. No. So it says Janelle Evans files 75K lawsuit against John Yates and Sherelle's World for ruining her life. She got comments on. This lawsuit is a dumpster fire. It's not even written coherently. I'm waiting for a class action against TLC. Now, If that was against TLC, that would be a class action. Thank you for the love. I don't think this will go anywhere. You have a few references or research of Scientology, specifically Dan Masson's trial. Is Scientology fair gaming for you? What? Are you a Scientologist trying to get some attention on the video that has nothing to do with Scientology? The person is wondering if the reason Katie doesn't really report on Scientology is because they threaten people who talk about them. They have a policy called fair game, which is basically stalking and threatening any media or anyone that's speaking out or questioning their ethics. I don't think this is about you, Katie. I'm just in questioning. Apparently, someone's saying that she's on their list. I've been covering the case because the church goes after journalists or bloggers that cover them. They have not come after me. I don't want to be involved in their harassment of people. But she's not a journalist. Hey, yay, Jenna, yay. Welcome again. All right. So let's have a look. We ready? We can do this. I wouldn't want to be on Scientology's bad side either. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. A couple bloggers are getting sued in federal court, and 9 plaintiffs are claiming that John Yates and Sherelle Lloyd, or from Sherelle's World, and her husband, Carrie, maliciously spread.
By the way, I am speeding it up, so she's not talking this fast. I've sped it up, okay? And apparently the editing is, well, make your own choice. I've seen a clip, but you make your own decision about the editing. I can't tell you what it's going to be.
False stories about them, and the 9 of them are a variety of individuals that have apparently been covered by blogger John Yates on Sherelle's channel, Sherelle's World. So the main headliner of this lawsuit is Janelle Evans of Teen Mom 2, and it involves a dispute between her and Devin Clay. This is crazy. Now, I've gone through my own lawsuit, so I'm going to do all of this with a very high grain of salt. We don't know what will actually happen here, and obviously claims of defamation are so hard to prove because you have to prove that the people that spread the alleged lie did so with a malicious intent, and that can be challenging in a court of law. So this is how it all breaks down. The Sun.
It's funny because the ABC in Australia has actually won a couple of defamation suits by pleading truth. They won one just recently, and then Christian Porter's discontinued his because of their defense. So because they're pleading truth. It's funny how she said that I've gone through my own lawsuit and I know to take everything with a grain of salt. What does that mean? Just take that.
I'm going to do all of this with a very high grain of salt. We don't know.
With a very high grain of salt. What does that mean anyway? With a very high grain of salt. A grain of salt means that you have no... She probably will. What's a very high grain of salt? I've never heard that phrase. Can someone explain that to me? I've heard of grain of salt. I've not heard a very high grain of salt. I begin to think she could get out of a murder charge situation thing. Well, I know the phrase as with a grain of salt, which is an English language idiom that means to view something with skepticism or not to interpret something literally. But I've never heard high grain of salt. Oh, thank you. Her stuff is like, Vidandra says, I won't get it because it's journalism. Okay, I won't try. I better. I forgot. It's journalism. Okay. And so she's been skeptical about it. Yeah, she's mangling the colloquialism. Okay. Oh, she's about to do a she's about to interpret a lawsuit, Alberta. She made it an oxymoron. It doesn't make any sense. As I said, I've never heard with a high grain of salt. I've heard with a grain of salt. I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. It's a palm of salt.
We don't know what will actually happen here, and obviously claims of defamation are so hard to prove because you have to prove that the people that spread the alleged lie did so with a malicious intent, and that can be challenging in a court of law. So this is how it all breaks down. The Sun broke the story today that Janelle Evans, formerly of Team On 2, was suing John Yates and Sherelle's World. The lawsuit, which was actually filed in Utah, which for a second I was like, whoa, Utah. For a second I was like, whoa, Utah, what's with Utah? But we'll get there.
Did you just repeat that? Like, was that, whoa. I know I sped that up, but that was trippy. All right, let's watch that again.
Team On 2 was suing John Yates and Sherelle's World. The lawsuit, which was actually filed in Utah, which for a second I was like, whoa, Utah. For a second I was like, whoa, Utah, what's with Utah? But we'll get there. The lawsuit is actually...
That was editing. Wow.
Includes several different people, including Amber Sherrington, Andrew Kenton, Young One University LLC, Amanda Grace Crosby, Janelle Evans Eason, Jennifer Kozar Richardson, Fritz Drexler, Joseph Amilla LLC, and Joseph C. Amilla, and Jane and John Doe's 1 through 20. They're all the plaintiffs, and they are suing John Yates, Trina Sherelle Lloyd, Sherelle's World LLC, William M. Lloyd, aka Perry Sanders. So the lawsuit is going down in Utah. This lawsuit, including a woman named Amber.
Did she say, yeah, but yep, it's the way that she edited it. I've had too much of that high salt. It was like, wow, is this just trippy? Do you want me to slow it down, commentator? I can slow it down a little bit more. I just thought it would just be easier, faster, but that repetitive editing line. Oops, there's all my emails. Look, oops. Look at all the spam I get. Well, that was great. That was my spam folder. Nothing in there. What have I done with what I was looking at? Here we go. I'll have to get my editor to take that out.
And another person named Joseph both live in Utah. The other plaintiffs are in California, Colorado, Indiana. You've got North Carolina, obviously, with Janelle. And you have over in Nevada, apparently, Sherelle and her husband, and then John over in New York. This is a wild case.
Hang on. Is there anybody in Utah? I felt like I was in Charlie Brown's class. Oh, she's not mentioned. There's no high grain of salt. Maybe she means the pink Himalayan salt lamp. Devon's in Utah, right? But Devon's not mentioned in the. I don't know. I'm not going to try and work any of this out. This is all right. So remember, we're getting our law lesson tonight. Yeah, just okay. All right.
One. When I saw this today, I was like, wow, this is a lot of people. But it seems like people that maybe are upset with these two have joined together to file a joint lawsuit, which is kind of odd when you think about this. But my guess is that it's expensive for these types of cases to go through federal court. And if you have a bunch of them together as plaintiffs being represented by like a single attorney, it cuts down the cost. And when you go in like this, it might be easier to win in terms of claims if there's like less, if any of the claims are true. Each individual person has their own claims and could each individually be dismissed. So,
which therefore is not a class action. Makes no sense. From what I'm hearing, I'm wondering whether they sought the legal prowess of the person that wrote her response.
This is a doozy. But the defendants in this case are Sherelle, William Lloyd, who is Perry, and then you have Jane and John Doe's, who are apparently accounts that are identified and joined to the lawsuit. As soon as anyone else is identified, there are sock accounts or whatever that they believe are connected to spreading these malicious lies. They say this, under the federal rules of civil procedure rule, plaintiffs are numerous and in different states. So basically what it says is this, is the plaintiffs are numerous, but—
Hang on. Oh, she's down to number 14. I wonder. So she hasn't actually just read everything. She's I'm trying to make it bigger. Oh, there we go. Married to defendants Jane and John Doe, constantly outside the state of Utah, have been identified. Right. So she's not reading the lawsuit. Right. She hasn't been reading it word for word. Well, this is what got her in trouble the last time. Maybe Jenna. I don't know, but the whole grade. Yes, she and John are still friends. Right.
But in different states, to the extent that filing individual lawsuits in each of the jurisdictions is not only impractical, but also for the purpose of judicial economy, the plaintiffs have all been injured out of the same episodes. Lives and transmissions and the defendants are the same in each and every case, making the claims and defenses similar to each party and to each defendant. Finally, the lawsuit may be brought in federal court if in any of the jurisdictions, and the plaintiffs and their counsel will fairly and adequately protect the interests of the class. So effectively what they've done is filed a class action lawsuit against them. Basically, these cases are expensive, and because they're all claiming that the same people have done the same things against them and they all have the same claims from an economical standpoint as well as from a protection standpoint.
I didn't say that it was a class action lawsuit.
Going in together, they claim will help them have a better chance of winning and save them money. They also say they're seeking an injunctive relief against the defendants for persistent and
Okay. I think so, Peter, because what she's stating and what I'm reading despite having received a cease and desist order. Me waiting a class action lawsuit when our show dog died from the pet who poisoned. We didn't even get enough. Oh, that's sad, Alberta. Went out because it's horribly written. If it passes that, the defendants can use the same jurisdiction defense KJ used. Well, in fact, they will probably cite her case. I would cite her case, Will. Let's just get petty for a moment. And she has to be very careful covering this and then comparing it to her own case too, remember?
Declaratory actions and statements made against them that the defendants have refused to curtail their activities and statements despite having received a cease and desist letter from the plaintiffs to the extent that final injunctive relief of corresponding declaratory relief is appropriate respecting the class as a whole. How? I've been on the other end of Sherelle, and maybe I should join this. Just kidding. I am not trying to get involved in another lawsuit, you guys. So the plaintiff...
She just said another lawsuit. Yeah, so it's two separate cases in one. In some ways, it does make sense because it makes sense to have everybody go to one space and sort it all out at the one time rather than having to fly to all the different jurisdictions. It's going to save money for everybody around, to be honest. Because again, everything that I'm going to pull back to the Christian Porter case. So one of the things that with the Christian Porter case is whether there should be a permanent suppression order. The judge was very mindful that technically there should be 3 or 4 events happening to do this, but she's actually prepared to listen to it all on the same day in order to save money. So everyone only has to come once. I don't know what she's all saying. It's all over the shop. Oh, the editing is not very good. So I can see that. So, but I know in the Christian Porter case that the judge has said, we'll do it all on the one day. Everyone can argue their bit, and then it's just going to save money.
Plaintiffs had questions of law and fact common to class members and the predominant over any other questions affecting only individual members. So there's a plaintiff named Richardson, and then her husband.
We've missed all of this. We've missed the page before about why Utah, because that's the first thing I've gone is like, why Utah? Emily lost it when she read that. The part that, oh, wow. Journey encounter with Yates, he threatened plaintiff. Okay. So I don't know. So the thing that's really annoying me at the moment is that I like to read with them. And, I like to follow along, but she doesn't allow that to happen. Anyway.
They say that in 2020, she allowed John to move into her house in Indiana. They say that John threatened the plaintiff Richardson that he would file a CPS report against them and would make a false claim of abuse and neglect against her children, which promptly ended their tenancy.
Did she say he threatened to? Because that says he did.
And then her husband, they say that in 2020, she allowed John to move into her house in Indiana. They say that John threatened the plaintiff Richardson that he would file a CPS report against them and would make a false claim of abuse and neglect against her children, which promptly ended their tenancy.
That's not what it says. Oh, but that there. Okay, they don't want to go to everyone's states. Yeah.
And then they say that on February 13th, 2020, the Ogdensville police report appeared at plaintiff Richardson's house, stating that they had received a child neglect report and they were to investigate. And later that afternoon, they claimed that CPS arrived, stating that they received a report of abuse and neglect. And then they say on February 17th, the plaintiff Richardson filed a police report against John for trespassing and a warning was issued against John. And then on February 28th, they say that John Yates then aired and broadcast a live stream interactive event program on YouTube where he and his audience discussed topics live, and he allowed them to make comments while on air that were subsequently recorded and posted on YouTube. I feel like I remember that story. I think she got interviewed by another channel, but I can't remember. And then they say that he released. Released private information against the plaintiff and discussed not only the allegations he levied against her, but also telling his fans to call CPS and ODPD and report claims against her. They say that on March 8th, he went live on his online platform, accused plaintiff Richardson of stealing from him and hiding the stolen items in her drawers, which was untrue. They say that on March 10th, he released a video on Instagram stating that she was harassing him and accused her of neglecting and abusing her children. On June 11th, they say that plaintiff Richardson...
she missed the section. It says, on 10th of March 2020, defendant Yates released a video on Instagram stating that plaintiff Richardson was harassing defendant Yates, then accused her of neglecting and abusing her child and that she had a drinking and drug problem, which is untrue. And he went to the police to get his stuff back. Okay.
Richardson of attempting to SA his husband and having an affair with another man, and also publicly disclosed her husband's...
Hang on. That's not what... Can't see that's what it says. On 11th of June 2020, defendant Yates accused Philip Richardson of attempting to... Oh, she's taken it out. Okay. Looks like it's been deleted. It's not there. And that's the thing. If she's going to remove it... Anyway. Because now it looks like it's been altered. Did Emily's have the word there, or has she taken that out of interest? Because when you start altering documents, you've got to wonder what else has been altered. Just my opinion. This is just my opinion.
Place of employment and personal residence to his online viewership. Wow. These are pretty... Ooh. Now, I don't know what John's side of this is, but that's wild. And then they say on October 20th, 2020, she discovered that the defendant Yates created a blackmail email account to store information about her prior to the tenancy with him. And then wow, these are like for long. They also claim that on October 21st to 24th that he went...
Well, that's right, Claire. And this is where I like... And the fact is, if you were going to black it out, I'd black it out. The fact that it's white shows it's missing. So then you've got to wonder what else is missing from this document. For me, it just helps with credibility.
Live in another attempt to discredit Richardson and to attack her viewership. And they say that on October 26, 2020, he admitted online in a YouTube live video that he was subsequently posted on YouTube as a video that he gave another fan the information to call the police and user information to call CPS. It sounds like borderline harassment if this is like false reporting. But again, these are allegations. None of this has been proven yet in court. And then they say on November 20.
It's not speaking to both sides like they should have done to her. It's funny how she goes, these are just allegations. Isn't that what Emily said?
Yeah,
her the whole time?
2020, that he discussed filing another false report to CPS and the police department, wherein the guest and online contributor indicated that they will call CPS and report the plaintiff Richardson concerning the false abuse and neglect allegations and persistent information campaign against the Richardsons. So that's one of the plaintiffs. The next plaintiff is Drexler. So they say that on October 13th, 2020 through November 20th of 2020, doxed the plaintiff Drexler's wife's information showing that she worked at the Mayo Clinic in hematology and oncology research departments and called plaintiff Drexler a racist and questioned his wife's political views on white supremacy. During the same period, they say that Yates threatened...
Do you know that so much of this sounds familiar? Do you know, like, how many of these things has she spoken about? I don't know.
Plaintiff Drexler by stating that he would hate for anything to happen to him or his wife or the companies that they managed together. They say during the same period, defendant Yates released plaintiff Drexler's image on Instagram, released his full name and a video wherein he claims that the plaintiff Drexler is a racist against persons of color. During the same period, they say that he released plaintiff Easler's wife's name and photograph, her work address and location, and asked his followers if they wanted to report her to the Mayo Clinic, and asked them to report that her husband was a racist and describe that how that made them feel. I don't know if this is true, but if you're a YouTuber, telling your fans to report people to the police or report people to like their work, that seems like a little severe. But again, these are just their allegations. I don't know what the actual truth is here, but that concerns me. Now for Janelle's claims, these are what Janelle says. On March 31st.
So at the moment, remember how she got mad when people, yes, I know. So that's a good question because I can't work it out either. That's why I've made it as big as I can, because I'm trying to follow along. Right, so from what I can work out at the moment, this is just against Yates. KJ has done all of these things, says Shell Belly. So we're only dealing with Yates at the moment. Okay.
First, defendant Yates posted a YouTube live video that was subsequently posted on YouTube. With Tracy Carnazzo, and talked about plaintiff Eason's dismissal from a new podcast. Oh yeah, this was a story that was a long time ago. I think I talked about this on my channel. They say that defendant Yates called Devin Clegg, who said she was at the kickoff event for the girls' SHIT podcast, and that defendant Yates said that the plaintiff Eason was let go from the podcast. Devin Clegg told defendant Yates that she was hired a month ago for the podcast and that she was not aware of Janelle's past. She says that defendant Yates stated that it was brought up to the management team that was enough for the plaintiff Eason to be fired, which was untrue and affected plaintiff Eason and her business opportunities because defendant Yates made a false statement about plaintiff's business and prospective businesses. Defendant Yates indicated that plaintiff Eason was let go and was asked not to attend the event due to Yates' comments on his live broadcast. He stated that when she showed up at the event, she was denied access to the VIP area and was asked to leave or otherwise excused, which is not true. And then they said that on April 1st, 2021, he went live on YouTube and posted a video on YouTube with defendant Lloyd. So this is the first time Sherelle shows up, and defendant Sherelle's world. And they say that they repeated the false statement from the previous night about plaintiff Eason being let go due to his statements on the podcast and other online celebrities not wanting to work with plaintiff Eason. So she says that he basically goes online, says that Devin got her fired and that it was because he reported it that she got fired, which I don't think that's actually true. I don't know if that's what actually was said, but I feel like that wasn't actually what happened. And then the claim goes on to say that they say that defendant Yates stated that that Janelle claimed that she was not fired and was a producer, which was true concerning plaintiff Eason and her role on this podcast. And Yates stated that Janelle handpicked Devin Clegg to be on the podcast and planned to get her podcast started. Yates read a statement posted by Devin about not supporting anything related to Janelle and her husband, David Eason, due to their past, and she would not be working with Janelle Eason. And then they said on April 1st, John went live on YouTube and posted a video on YouTube and said all he could say is that those rumors came out the same time a certain person got fired from a podcast and her name rhymes with
Meanwhile, she haven't said like these claims are true, but her lawsuit was all lies. She's such a doof. Well, I mean, they're true as far as the statement of claim is the people that have written them believe it's to be true. That's why it's going to court. The court. All right, so we're nearly we're nearly halfway. I don't know whether she copied EDB. I haven't watched EDB. Everyone that watched EDB, what do you think? Because I live in a state lockdown, just face-to-face, go grab some sleep. All right, you're always welcome. Everyone's always welcome here, Peter. Nice. Thank you for coming. These live chats into super chat, so you love the channel. I know what you mean.
Renelle Pevens, which again was unfounded and false information concerning plaintiff Eason. So with Janelle's case, I'm not really sure what the issue is here and how. So she's claiming that she wasn't fired and it wasn't because John got her fired by reporting the story and reporting what Devin said. This one seems a little bit cloudy to me. I don't know how that is going to go on in court, because that to me almost sounds like John's like reporting what someone else is telling him. And as long as he has a source that's telling him that this is what happened, she can't technically sue John. But again, I'm not a lawyer. So Andrew Kenton, who's from 90 Day Fiance, he says that they made statements regarding them taking out a PPP loan. And he told defendant Lloyd that he went live on his YouTube channel and posted a video on YouTube about Andrew regarding airline tickets he purchased, loans from the government, and his limited liability companies. And
if John Yates was to plead truth and he can prove that it was true, then yeah.
And then they say that Sherelle went live on YouTube discussing his Andrew, and added that it was a preview for tomorrow's live broadcast because it was a big story about Andrew Kenton from 90 Day Fiance. So they were going to talk about his phony loans. They claimed that he and his mother were contacting smaller blogs to gain attention in an attempt to clean their government fraud. But they also wanted to remind viewers that Kenton was doing what he was doing still amounted to fraud. So they say that he took out PPP loans that he didn't need. And they say that the headline for the YouTube episode was Andrew Kenton's daycare is defrauding the government, and the amount in controversy would be a felony level offense. So they're saying accuse Andrew.
She's all over the place from one person to the next and one story to the next. My head hurts. Yeah, I'm having trouble keeping up. I know I've sped it up, but I can't keep track of it. And I'm trying to follow along, and I can't follow. I'm having trouble following along.
Of committing a felony. And anytime you accuse someone of committing a crime and it's not true, that can certainly get you into trouble if you did it maliciously. So it says, during the live stream on April 6, 2021, John Yates, Sherelle, and Sanders revealed that plaintiff had PPP loan documents and his address and falsely claimed that he falsely created an LLC to receive a PPP loan. They say that he had established his daycare prior to COVID and the PPP loan program. So they say, Kenton says this isn't true. I've had this daycare since before any of this started. But they say that Yates, Lloyd, and Sanders claim that he set the business up for the sole purpose of receiving PPP loans, which is not true. You actually have to prove your income, and you also have to provide statements to the government in terms of what your payroll is. So I don't think you would actually be able to just set up a company and then be like, hey, can you give me money with no documentation? That doesn't even make sense. But this is what they're alleging. And they're saying that they also alleged that he used the money to purchase airline tickets for the show 90 Day Fiance, which aired on TLC network of programs and viewed on cable networks. And he says that's false.
All right, so let's try and read this again. Oh, I'm happy. I will do that, Rayleigh. I just wanted to know how, whether people were saying that we were just wondering whether there was similarity with what some of the conclusions she was making. That was all. It's interesting because, when I'm reading this, Plaintiff Keaton established his daycare plaintiff you prior to COVID-19 and the PPP program. I'd want to know dates. It's messy, and if you don't follow 90 Day Fiance, it would be a little bit more confusing. So it's a little bit more you understand it a lot more, Christoph, and always because you're a 90 Day Fiance fan. I just wish you'd read it as it says, as it's written. That's all.
Because the PPP loan did not issue until July 2020, and that was well after the plan.
And hasn't she taken? Oh no, I was going to say, didn't she take all the court stuff off? But no, that's up the top there. Page 11 of 30.
tickets had been purchased. And they said that then they went live again on her YouTube channel and repeated the claims against them and his daycare. And they said that he defrauded the government by making false statements on his application, which again is a felony offense, falsely claimed against this plaintiff and his business. And on the same date, they say that the defendant Lloyd indicated to a third party that she was attacking his Kenton and his business to curry favor with the Sharp network in her attempt to secure exclusive interviews with the participants of the show. Whoa. So the next plaintiffs are all together, and that are...
Well. Takes up a wall. Well, it sounds like they should be suing TLC then.
Plaintiff Amelia and plaintiff Crosby, and they say that they went live on their channels and they claimed that crazy things were going online about Devin Clegg and Jehoon Lee, and that somebody from Team Jehoon reached out to him with information. And they said that Yates made false statements alleging that these plaintiffs had Jehoon's Line app login and Instagram login, and she was texting online celebrity Devin, posing as an online celebrity Jehoon. So they're
defendant's terms went on trials. All right. 28 minutes. Some of this stuff. Oh, look. And this video has received 4,000 views on YouTube. Oh, we're talking about views and money.
accusing her of logging into Jehoon's account and posing as Jehoon to talk to Devin, I guess. Then he says that defendant Yates falsely stated that every time money was low, plaintiff Sherrington would threaten Jehoon to go live on YouTube or Instagram to raise money to defraud the public and Jehoon. Defendant alleged that plaintiff Sherrington and Alamilla had formulated this plan prior to the launch of Jehoon's GoFundMe account, and that defendant Lloyd would provide additional information on the situation. They also say that Yates further alleged that these plaintiffs would boast to others that she had been watching Devin for a long time and claimed that she lived next to her and that she may or may not have been stalking her, which is, again, a criminal offense in Utah. They say that he claimed that Jehoon removed the GoFundMe account because he did not like the threats.
Well, it's interesting here. You can't walk away. It says stalking, which again is a criminal offense in Utah, but if they don't live in Utah, it's the Katie Joy defense jurisdiction. Do these people live in Utah? Because if they don't live in Utah, you can't then say that something's a criminal offense in Utah because you're filing it in Utah. Right? Is that right? Even though the document's been filed in Utah, it's jurisdiction issues from what I can see already. Hey, and I'm not even a lawyer.
Is receiving from this plaintiff Sherrington. They say defendant Yates also claimed that money more than 3 people had come forward with evidence that they had been submitted to the police. He asserted that he knew there was a laptop left in Korea and that Devin had a lot of pictures on a laptop and he had seen the pictures. He also claimed, they say defendant Yates stated that they were directives from certain people within plaintiff Sherrington's group telling her to spread revenge P from the laptop, which is a felony allegation against them.
Well, hang on. This is well, I think Devin and Janelle might live together because they're on that other show, right? Okay. Will always has to come up somewhere, doesn't it? Whoever said that this lawsuit doesn't make any sense is right. I can't make sense of it. Devin, oh, okay. Devin lived in Utah for a while. Okay. Right.
So they also say that the defendant Crosby was guilty of, defendant Yates then alleged that the other person, Amanda Crosby, was guilty of fraud for $16,000 Ponzi scheme, which is a felony in the state of Utah. They say that defendant Yates also stated that the title of the GoFundMe account had already been changed 3 times, and that Sherrington, Crosby, and Alamilla and their defendant were defrauding people in the amount of $16,000, which is a felony offense in the state of Utah and was directed specifically at plaintiff Alamilla's professional license and plaintiff JCA's business and prospective businesses. They say that Yates indicated that the money that they made from this PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo equaled $16,000, but he stated that the estimate was closer to $20,000. Then they said that Yates on April 9th claimed that Amber Sherrington had naked pictures of Devin on her page and referred to plaintiff Alamilla and JCA when he stated that these were low-class lawyers. And then they said, oh, and then Alamilla is a lawyer. And then they said that
Really? Wow.
defendant Yates further claimed on YouTube Live that plaintiff Sherrington and Crosby and Amilla were shady as F. And in chat comments during defendant Yates Live, they say that someone pointed out that the misappropriation of fund will get an attorney disbarred, and proceeded to claim that this plaintiff would be disbarred, and defendant Yates stated that as well. Okay, so he's
wait on. So they're talking about YouTube chat comments. Then this one should be very, very I don't know, I can't get the camera to it. This one should be very confused about all the stuff that her people are saying in the comments about some of the hate and everything. There are parts of it that reminds me of the Tati Katie Joy suit, actually.
Claiming that these 3 people conspired to rip off Jehoon's GoFundMe, raise money, and to blackmail Devin or something. So apparently they were sent cease and desist letters. So on April 10th, they say that defendant Yates, defendant Lloyd, and defendant Sanders were sent cease and desist letters regarding their false, misleading statements and warning that if it continued, that the plaintiffs would protect themselves and their reputation to the fullest extent of the law.
The lawyer was a criminal. What were the allegations that were made about Saltsy? In my opinion, this is very too much close to home. And I would not have been touching this. If I had just gone through what she'd gone through, I would not have touched this with a 5-foot pole.
On April 17th, Yates went live on YouTube with online celebrity Alicia Clegg, which is, I believe, Devin's mom, and defendant Yates streamed for more than an hour and 50 minutes. And then on April 26th, defendant Yates' episode amassed more than 4,400 views. The crazy thing is these videos don't have a ton of views, but obviously these people are upset that enough people are being influenced by these lies. And if some of these people are not public figures, that's a lot of people believing an alleged lie. Like, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what their claims. John Yates was alleged to have told his viewers that he believed the funny part of the cease and desist letter was that he claimed to have never mentioned Jehoon's GoFundMe account or the people behind it, although in the prior episode of his YouTube channel, he spent over half an hour spreading false and defamatory statements.
Team Mum and Team Mum AG or Team Mum 2, I wouldn't have touched it because she's got bias against Sherelle, and like you said, she just got out of her own lawsuit. She tried to disbar him. Yes, she threatened to disbar him. Like, there's lots of stuff that's said in here that, as I said, reminds me of the lawsuit she's just got out of. I wouldn't have touched it. But anyway. And it doesn't look like it's had a ton of views, so we probably won't hear anything else about it again.
Plaintiff. And he claimed that it all came out on about April 7th, 2021, when Jehoon posted that he owed his attorney an additional $11,000. They say that he further claimed on YouTube live broadcast that as far as the cease and desist was concerned, he would not mention certain people's names because of it. He also stated that on the same broadcast that he understood how they worked and that they are written by a lawyer and that he worked for attorneys since 2007. He said that Yates indicated that he wanted the plaintiffs to pursue him because he understood that a lawyer must write a cease and desist letter. Then, if the defendant broke the cease and desist, the people must give the attorney thousands of dollars to come after him in court. They say that defendant stated that if the plaintiffs wanted to come after him in court, file a lawsuit against him, and then he could go ahead and do it. And defendant Yates went on to state that if he were breaking the cease and desist letter, then the plaintiffs could sue him.
Well, hello. They won't sue me. They won't sue me.
Defendant Yates then claimed that $30,000 was raised for a custody case that was never filed, and that money was misappropriated to Jehoon's slander suit against Devin, which would be a felony in Utah. And then they said that there was a slander suit filed by Jehoon against Devin. None of the money raised from the GoFundMe account was utilized for the slander suit. They say that the defendant Yates again stated that if he broke the cease and desist letter tonight, that he wanted the plaintiffs to sue him.
Oh, you'll be following this case for sure. Of course, Christoph Van der Weijs, you have an interest. But I'm saying, as far as Katie Joy is concerned, it is, in my opinion, too close to what she's just left, what she's got out of. And she's already talked about her own lawsuit at the start. Oh, it's all like, it is all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even follow a proper order. You can see they've tried to save money.
And then Erica, which was Devin's mom, stated that another online personality had a current restraining order against John Yates, which supports the claim that defendant Yates has a history of salacious, false, and misleading statements. So they apparently gave him some chances, and I guess he was just kind of saying, sue me. And for some people, they might not care. Like, maybe he feels like they have nothing to sue me. He feels that their claims are based.
Oh, I'd sped up me more, Dragon. But interesting how she's talking about the cease and desist letter. Some people just don't care. She didn't care.
Or maybe he'll just like file for bankruptcy. I don't really know. Maybe he's like, well, I don't have money anyway, so sue me. But who knows? They say that on April 17th, he went on a live to provoke and encourage his followers to take action with comments as whoever lives in that state call the bar on them. They say that plaintiff Alamilla and plaintiff JCA received 2 negative online reviews by people for whom he did not contract with or for whom he had not represented.
Hello? Didn't Saltsy get an online bar report? Like, there is just too many similarities. Katie. Oh! Somebody saw dollar signs instead of thinking.
They say the reviews appeared after he had told his followers to file reviews and complaints against the Utah State Bar. On April 23rd, he received 2 bar complaints from persons who were not his clients and who follow defendant Yates, both of which were against his professional license and against his business. Okay, so basically, people who are not this guy's client are reporting him to the bar, which isn't really how that works. And that's really...
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. But she wasn't Saltsy's client.
His professional license and against his business. Okay, so basically, people who are not this guy's client are reporting him to the bar, which isn't really how that works. And that's really intense to like tell someone to report someone to the bar that isn't that actual person. So what I'm seeing in this lawsuit more than anything is that all of these plaintiffs seem to say that he's using his platform, telling people to do things on his behalf to effectively like harass whatever the person is that he's talking about, allegedly. They say that on April 23rd, 2001, plaintiff Drexler received complaints on his professional license at the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Affairs that were false allegations. That's a lot of damage to be done if this is actually what happened. And then they...
Oh, Katie. Christoph Van der Weijs, like she tried to do with Saltsy. That's what I'm saying. This is a reason why she shouldn't have touched it.
It went live on Sherelle's channel. They say on April 20th and 21st, and those broadcasts amassed over 3,000 views.
She said 2001. It was 2021. Oh,
They were saying that the one person was posting nudes of Devin, stalking her, and running a hate page against them. So it seems like they're almost doing some work for Devin or on the behalf of Devin, and then these other people are like connected to Jehoon, and there's like a fight between them and whatever. And then they say on the same date, defendant Lloyd reported that her YouTube live that children were being threatened by the plaintiffs, and at the same program broadcasted, Lloyd stated that the plaintiff and Crosby and Sherrington forced Jehoon to go along with the lawsuits and threatened him. And she called.
Says the broadcaster amassed no less than 3,652. I think she's really dancing a fine line. You know, inside she wants to blurt out similarities in her own case, which would probably obliterate NDA. She might want to look into getting an editor because she sucks at it. Well, she said that it's not hard to do. That might be why she did an edit. It might be why she's edited. But she, yeah, the edit. It's very jumpy.
Called them effing crooks, apparently. And she also claims that Sherelle claimed that he knows how attorneys work. She was a paralegal and a court reporter, and if my attorney was on the phone with a client for 5 minutes, as soon as he hung up, he would say, bill her for an hour. Anyone who works in the legal field knows that's how attorneys work, which is defamatory and is an attack on the plaintiff Ella Milla's professional law license against plaintiff JCA. On the same YouTube live on April 20th, they say that Sherelle alleged that the plaintiff Milla's billing is a total disbarment right here. So she's going after how he's billing people and then suggesting that he should be disbarred for that. This is a
wasn't she trying to get Salty disbarred? There's so many similarities. Seriously, I don't know why. What possessed her to even go down this path?
A lot. Like, they basically are claiming that Yates and Sherelle are teaming up and targeting people and spreading malicious lies against whoever it is that they're reporting on. A lot. There's a lot. I don't know, like, what constitutes, like, how this will all work and if they're going to be able to claim jurisdiction in Utah. But it sounds like they're making pretty big claims against these people, and these people are saying, this isn't true, this isn't supported, you're actually accusing me of a crime, which I didn't do. And they say that they're basically saying that they kept making all these false statements over and over and over again. They got ridiculed, they were harassed, so they say that they intended to deprive the plaintiffs of public confidence, injure their business and professions or trade, failed to delete the defamatory information, intended to be subject to the plaintiff's public ridicule, violence, and contempt. Oh, they're also suing for a civil conspiracy, and they say they work together in combination.
Oh, is that like a murderous conspiracy? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have that out. Is that like a murderous conspiracy? And if you're watching, hello, Katie Joy. Yes, I'm making fun of your lawsuit again. It's like, what is it? What did you say? Oh, something about a civil conspiracy. Where is it? I just want to know whether it's like a murderous conspiracy. We'll take that back and have a listen to that.
Wait, they're also suing for a civil conspiracy, and they say they work together in combination for the object purpose of injuring and harming the plaintiffs, their reputations, their businesses, and their professions. The conduct was exhibited in a meeting of minds to accomplish this purpose, as defendants have appeared together on numerous shows to injure and persistently harass the plaintiffs. These actions and conduct by the plaintiffs were unlawful and overt, and as a direct and approximate result, plaintiffs have been damaged in the amount to be proven at trial. So they're alleging that the two of them were working together, and they're saying that they were doing this to harm people that were direct competitors, people.
It sounds like the Westbrook lawsuit. I swear. It just reminds me of everything that very similar to what was accused of what Katie did on her YouTube channel.
that were direct nemesises of Devin Clegg and people who they felt were threats to them. Sherelle has published a lot of false things about me, and the two of them have attacked me together. I have never thought of suing them, but I kind of, in that context, can kind of see where they're coming.
Didn't she say in the live that she sent them a cease and desist? Didn't she just say in the live she sent them now she's saying she hadn't thought about suing them? Didn't she say she tried to sue her, but they wouldn't accept? Oh. It's so similar Plan to Create. It sounds like a murderous conspiracy. That's right. Yeah, I'm going by what she's just said on Instagram. So she's contradicted herself.
From the court of law will actually have to figure this out. And so the damages they say that they've lost is like $75,000, but they're also claiming that the court can decide how much to award them for punitive damages and for the damages of the conspiracy. And so their prayer for relief is that they want a monetary judgment to be entered in the favor of plaintiffs against the defendants, an amount proven at trial with consequential damages, general damages, special damages, court interest, punitive damages, court costs, attorney fees, all from the applicable dates. And from the date of this filing to when the judgment amount is paid in full. So the number on the lawsuit says $75, but it sounds like they're going for a lot more, which makes sense because there would have to be a pretty
hang on.
For this.
She said $75. She said $75. She said $75. Have a listen. $75. Listen. Have a listen.
Special damages, court interest, punitive damages, court costs, attorney fees, all from the applicable dates. And from the date of this filing to when the judgment amount is paid in full. So the number on the lawsuit says $75, but it's
$75. Did she say $75? KJ, I know you're watching. You should say you said she's an actual lawyer, you're a clown. Yes. Hello, Aunt Lizzie. Did she say $75? Tell me, did she say $75 or was it 75,000? And I'm going bonkers. You can tell me. Yes, $75. That's what she said. Hey, I just paid the $75 and walk away.
amount is paid in full. So the number on the lawsuit says $75, but it sounds like they're going for a lot more, which makes sense because there would have to be a pretty high award they're expecting to get for this to go into a class action and for a lawyer to be working on a class action side. Typically lawyers that work from a class action perspective will just take a portion of the damages and they get the other percent goes to people that are represented by the attorney. So we'll have to see how this goes. They have not responded to this. If any of these claims are true, this could be a challenging lawsuit for Yates and for Sherelle, and we'll see if they respond. But I will say this, in my own opinion, I have been on the receiving end of malicious lies by both of these two about me, at least by Sherelle, about me, including that I'm a racist and that making really outlandish claims about my husband. And I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that. I have a larger platform, so it hasn't hurt me, but she's made a lot of videos about me, so I totally understand why they would be angry. And she does disregard and laugh when people ask her to take things down. So maybe this will cause her to think or have to refocus her time and energy. I don't know, or maybe she'll deny all of it. At the end of the day, you've got a couple reality stars and then other bloggers that are suing them, and they are saying that Sherelle and John Yates coordinated together to damage other people's reputations to benefit them. So we'll see how it all goes, but tell me what your thoughts are about all this in the comments below.
Well, wowzers. Whoa. She went there, didn't she? I would not have gone there. I just, there were many times when she's reading that out and I'm going, yes, like you, KJ, like you, KJ. So just to finish off, because I want to end on a high note, thank you for everybody for watching. If you're watching the other night when we got onto a topic about toads and their manhood, and we got talking about stuff, this headline, you'll understand. Because it says KJ's a damn liar. Don't touch the ball. Plea from South Australian doctor. That is the headline. Don't touch the ball. So we have Aussie rules football in Australia, mainly in the southern. I popped in at the moment. On your stream, Will. you chose a good time to come in, didn't you? That was a crazy stream. That went crazy. So there's an AFL match in Adelaide, and there's a Victorian club going to Adelaide. So they've given them special permission to come to play in Adelaide. And so South Australia's Public Chief Health Officer has said that you're not allowed to touch the ball. So because the team from Victoria may have COVID, so I've noticed occasionally is kicked. I have noticed occasionally gets kicked into the crowd. We're working through the details on what they will mean. If you're at Adelaide Oval and the ball comes towards you, my advice is to duck and do not touch the ball. So there you have it. Do not touch the ball. Whisper down your lane lawsuits. I guess you. Yeah. Can't hear you. Another video on. Oh, sorry. Can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So what I'm saying is that, people have been told that you can't touch the ball if you go to the football on the weekend, because don't touch the ball. Oh, cool. Okay, you guys can hear me fine. That's all right. Yeah, so that's the lesson that I want you to take away today. Is the word whatever. I think it must be a new legal term, Claire. So the lesson of today is don't touch the ball. Don't touch the ball. Just love that headline. I saw that headline and I thought, after the video the other night that those of you that were there would appreciate this headline. Don't touch the ball. A plea from South Australian doctor. Don't touch the ball, new merch. Don't touch the ball, otherwise you'll get COVID. Patrick says that's my husband's favourite quote. Oh, as I said, I just laughed when I saw that headline. I thought it was hilarious. Of course, yeah, she's talking about football, but we know that. So anyway, so it says that there is little, despite earlier beliefs that the virus is spreading on surfaces, including money, there was now little evidence of that, with transmission through the air now widely believed to spread it. So that's what they're saying. So they're not allowed. Like the team will be coming. The team from Victoria will be flying into South Australia. They're actually in isolation now, so they've got a travel exemption. They'll be on their bus. They'll be in a quarantine hotel. But yeah, it's just hilarious. Don't touch the ball. But they've invented we've got a new phrase now called fleeting transmissions. So they've discovered that it's actually traveling through the air. And so you can be passing somebody, and if they've got COVID, that as you're passing the air, you can actually get it. There's been a number of people that have got the virus. They've tested positive from the virus from a fleeting transmission. So we're dealing with that at the moment. Hence why Melbourne's still going to be locked down for a little bit longer, because we've got fleeting transmissions. It's like a fleeting glance. So anyway, so on that note, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sitting through all those videos. I'll watch Emily now to get a better take on that. But yeah, it didn't make much sense. However, I do feel that it was very a little bit too close to home for KJ, and I think that I would, if I was her, I would not have touched it. But again, that's just me. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. If you can subscribe as well, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. And anyway, look after yourself and stay safe.